Hello everyone, I'm the FC and this is Blue Lines TV. Breaking official news, Kovacic has officially been announced by Chelsea. He has signed on a season-long loan. Nothing's come out really 100% clarifying the fact whether he is going to have that option to buy at the end of the season, but I'm sure that throughout this following season, there's going to be times and opportunities where Chelsea can obviously turn that into a permanent transfer if things do work out. I do think that it's not necessarily the biggest issue or the biggest concern. Let's see how he does this season first. Let's say hypothetically he doesn't even do that well, or he doesn't play as much, or God forbid he got an injury. Then Chelsea might think, actually, you know what? We've actually dodged a bullet here and we don't need to actually buy him right now. So I think that's actually okay, because you guys, you have to realise when it comes to these options to buy afterwards, 9 times out of 10, normally they get activated once that player has played a specific amount of games. And this is why it's pretty cynical sometimes, because a lot of clubs, if they can't afford to buy the player, they just won't use them. And I'll tell you an example of something like that. Nathaniel Chalobah, when he went to Napoli. Now, Napoli wanted to sign him at the end of that season. He was on loan. Chalobah decided against it because Conte persuaded him to stay. But the main reason as to why Chalobah didn't play as many games was because if he did play more games, that means that Napoli would have had to have activated the option to buy afterwards, and it would have cost them much more money. So again, it's a very cynical tactical thing. It happens a lot during Serie A, so you guys keep that in the back of your mind when it comes to these types of things. But anyway, getting back to MATEO, Kovacic, and again, you guys, I was making that comparison with Vecino. I was making that comparison before in terms of the fact that he is an upgrade to Vecino. And why am I saying that? Well, that's because Kovacic can play all across midfield. Now, I'd probably say his best position is playing deeper in midfield, where he can dictate things, he can use his passing abilities, he can beat the press, and he can obviously link up and dictate the game. But with Kovacic as well, you know, he can also be the guy to harry people because he's very tenacious. He does love to tackle people, and he's very aggressive with his pressing. And also, he could potentially be a number 8 as well. During his time at Inter Milan, he did play as an advanced playmaker in their midfield, so he does have that in his game, and he does have that in his locker. Now, some people might be thinking, Nini, we've just signed Kovacic from Real Madrid. The guy's only played 100 games there, and he's been there since he was 21 years old. Should we really be looking at a guy like this? Now, you know what? In a way, I can slightly understand where you're coming from, but I think that, you know, with the imminent departures of Bakayoko and Drinkwater, that does free up space. And, you know, when you're replacing those two players with Kovacic, a guy that is basically a 3-in-1 type of player because of all the different roles he can play in midfield, it does make a lot of tactical sense. And of course, that is going to interest Sarri. And, you know, the beautiful thing about this deal is we don't have to sign Vecino. He would have cost us 35 million. The price has been offset because Madrid allowed Kovacic to come here on loan, so they could sign Courtois for 35 million. So it does make a lot of sense. But with Kovacic, I think he's a decent player. Is this necessarily going to spell the end for Ruben Loftus-Cheek? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You know, Ruben has the opportunity where he can fight for his place and show what he can do. And again, with Sarri, as I'm always stressing quite a lot, the guy does like to rotate his midfield. There is a first choice option, but then Sarri is actually very happy to rotate heavily when he needs to do that. So expect a lot of our midfield players to get a lot of game time during the season, especially when we have the Europa League on top of that. So I think it's an interesting one. Now, here's what Kovacic had to say when he officially was announced by Chelsea. I am really happy and excited to be here at Chelsea. It is an amazing feeling. I swear, players always say the most cliche things. It's an amazing feeling. They always say that one. It's an amazing feeling. But anyway, I will try to do my best for this club. It is a new league for me. The beginning is always tough, but I am sure the coach and my new teammates will help me, and I am looking forward to a great season. Now, Kovacic will probably become the second Croatian player to play for us. Mario Strinic was the first one. Now, we have signed a lot of Croat players beforehand, but they haven't really got any official appearances for the club, so it is going to be very interesting. Here's what Marina had to say about the deal. We are very happy to welcome Mateo to the Chelsea family. He is a perfect fit for us this season. His style is well suited to how Maurizio wants to play, and we are sure he will prove to be a valuable asset for the club. And that was the point I was making earlier on during this video. Kovacic really does complement what Sarri does want to do, especially with how he likes to play with the ball. He can beat the press as well, how he can play between the lines on top of that. And I think it will be a very valuable asset to have. And also, With his signing to, let's say hypothetically, any of our players were to get injured, you can fill that position with Kovacic and he can play it to a very high role. So again, I think it's a signing that does make quite a lot of business sense when I really try to break things down and think things through. One thing for certain is that Kovacic will be very hungry whilst he's here. He has a point to prove. He wants to show people that yes, he is a top class midfield player. This is why he's been trying desperately to leave Real Madrid for this season. In a way, he's always had an impossible task. When you've got Kroos and Modric ahead of you, he's not a defensive midfielder similar to Casemiro, so he was always really going to struggle to get that game time. But I think that this consistency, playing for a club where he will be playing a lot more, should get the best out of him, and he can hopefully fulfill that potential that he does have. Because, when it comes to us giving a brief player analysis on Kovacic, the guy is a very good football player. I mean, dribbling is one of his best attributes. He's got that very tight, close control, very elegant as well. He can use his body balance perfectly on top of that, and he's very good. One of those players that has like an eye on the back of his head where he can always just beat that press that's coming towards him. He can tackle. Now, I definitely think this is one thing that fans will definitely like. We are in the Premier League after all. We do like to see players that have that type of, hunger and passion and desire. And I think Kovacic is the type of player that's going to get fans really excited. So, again, he does have that technical acumen to his game. And again, this is passing. A lot of very nice, short, crisp passes. He can play the passes between the lines on top of that. One interesting thing will he be that goal threat that we do need? Now, that's not saying that, when Hamsik was at Napoli under Sarri, it wasn't as if he was scoring 15 goals a season and getting 15 assists. I know, I understand that. But you guys, I'm saying this point every single time. We're Chelsea, we do things bigger and we do things better. I'm seeing it like this. Let's say hypothetically, Hamsik did get 15 goals. Imagine those 7 extra goals. How many points could that have got for Napoli potentially? And if we add those points on to what they finally got at the end of that season, they could have potentially won the league. So always keep that mindset in the back of your heads in regards to we can do things bigger and we can do things better, because then you get better bonuses from that. But the reason why I went off tangent a tiny bit is the fact that Kovacic doesn't really have that goal threat, and I was speaking about that before in previous videos. Now, he hasn't scored a single goal for Real Madrid last season. Yes, I understand the context, playing in a deeper midfield role. He only started 11 games, came on as a sub 10 times during the league. He only played 36 in total, barely starting any games, so that makes a lot of sense. But I really do think that Sarri will probably look to use him in the number 8 position, and I think that Kovacic will actually have to show some of his goal threat, and he'll have to take some sort of responsibility when he is nearing on goal. But again, that's something that can be developed. It'll be interesting to see how Kovacic does cope with that. When it comes to his finishing and his shooting, that's one part of his game I'm really not too sure about, to be honest. But one thing I am sure about is, if I'm Ross Barkley, I'm really worried right now. And it makes a lot of sense. And it's probably no surprise why Sarri still wanted a midfield player to come to Chelsea. Now, with Ross Barkley playing in that number 8 role, I don't necessarily feel he's been that great. I personally felt that, when Ross Barkley was at Everton, where, he was playing closer to Lukaku, where most times his good stuff was coming on the counter-attack. Let's remember that, you guys. Everton playing off the ball on the counter. At Chelsea, we keep in possession and opposition teams are defending in front of us. It's a completely different game. And so far, even though I do understand Ross hasn't played as much during the year, he's looking like he's struggling a bit. Every time it comes to doing anything in the final third, play keeps getting broken down, passes aren't being made, losing easy possession of the ball. All of his passes are very safe. Yes, even though they are quick, where he is passing it out wide very quickly, everything is still very conservative. And that's one thing that isn't going to make Sarri happy, because as I keep saying, there's a lot more responsibility on that number 8 compared to Jorginho and compared to Kante, because he's the one that makes sense of all of that attacking transition. All the good stuff comes through him mostly. He has to be good on the ball. He can't afford to lose and waste things or have the ball dispossessed from him. And with Ross Barkley, it's something that he has been struggling with. But I think with Ruben and Kovacic, I'm seeing those two as the main competition for that number 8 role. And I think that they will be shared out pretty evenly, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea don't use them week in, week out, because maybe they want to renegotiate on terms at the end of the season. Their point could be, well, Kovacic only played this much. There's no way you can demand 50-something million. Here's our bid of 35 million. Take it or leave it. I can see things being played out like that, knowing how we do things. But yeah, you guys, that concludes another transfer in the space of a few hours. Kepa was announced yesterday, Kovacic now. it does bring up interesting questions in regards to who our next target is going to be. Still talks of Martial, still talks of Nabil Fekir. It's going to go to the wire. Only a few more hours left. It's not too long now. 7 more hours until transfer deadline day closes. Expect a lot more videos to be coming out on my channel, and expect a live stream in the final hour of transfer deadline day on top of that. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a long, productive day for me. You guys, thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Welcome to Chelsea, Kovacic.